Over the weekend, we went to war with Venezuela. Trump launched an illegal and unconstitutional military attack and invasion on a sovereign nation.
You watch this administration and Trump take over an entire fucking sovereign nation and say that they were going to run it, and that is literal imperialism.
The military literally kidnapped the president of Venezuela and his wife. And when we were hearing Trump talk about Venezuela before, it was about them smuggling drugs into the country. But all that pretext went out the window after the attack.
We're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost, and we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they had.
With Trump openly admitting it was all about oil, regime change, and taking over another country's plentiful resources. And not only that, but he's planning to do it again.
But we can't take a chance after having done this. We have to do it again. We can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us.
And all this happened without congressional approval, without an official declaration of war, and without the American public even being told what was happening and why.
MAGA was a damn lie. Donald Trump just launched a full-scale war against Venezuela without congressional approval after promising the American people no new wars.
It really seems like Trump just rolled out of the bed and decided to take over a country, and that's exactly what he did. This is imperialism or colonization, depending on how it all plays out. And just like always, Congress is doing nothing to stop Trump or hold him accountable.
Trump put out a message saying we successfully captured him and flew him out of his country.
With approval from U.S. law enforcement.
Did he get permission from Venezuelan authorities, or did he kidnap
Trump didn't
him?
specify, but he said there'll be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago.
Now, I know this channel is super entertaining, but for all the times you get bored, there's a game you can play and get paid for. If you check out the link in the description or scan the QR code, you can sign up for freecash.com and start right away. It's simple, and it only takes a few seconds to create an account with your email and password. Inside, you'll see a wall of games and offers. Pick one you actually enjoy, play through the levels, and the cash lands straight into your free cash account. That's how some users are earning hundreds of dollars on certain offers. And you don't even have to spend anything. Just stick to the free levels and cash out. The whole point is, instead of sitting there scrolling like we all do, you can play games and earn money at the same time. And when it's time to cash out, you got options, PayPal or gift cards. So if you're curious, hit the link in the description or scan the QR code. Sign up free and start playing for cash in your spare time. And when you use my link or QR code, you get a $5 bonus to kick things off. But I'm Jew, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
I'm not even gonna play around anymore. It. Hit me with the works. Iraq, Venezuela, go!
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we can do things the easy way, that's fine. And if we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
We can get rid of Saddam. It could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom can serve as a beacon of hope.
Shock and awe.
It's crazy Trump isn't even trying to hide it or lie anymore about exactly what he did and why. And that says so much because he knows there are no consequences or repercussions. He can just unilaterally decide to start a war, invade a country, remove their leadership, claim ownership of the country. Meanwhile, Congress is useless and MAGA is still behind Trump. But that's probably the least surprising part out of all of this, considering they're still behind him after all the Epstein leaks. These are civilians, just there recording their city being bombed. This is such an unreal timeline. We invaded a sovereign nation and nobody's saying anything. Half of America doesn't know what happened. The other half doesn't know why it happened. And MAGA is just gonna support Trump no matter what. And all Congress can do is tweet about it. We just took over 30 million people and you morons think that this is cool. Keep in mind, you're also the people that think it's fine that our president is a PDF file.
You fucks are gonna be the death of us all. You watch this administration and Trump take over an entire fucking sovereign nation and say that they were going to run it, and that is literal imperialism. That is a fucking colony by default. You can see them do that and then say, oh, Venezuela's free just because that piece of shit was a dictator. Yeah, he had to go, fine. It is not our job to be with the world police or to do that for them or do that to anybody. It is not, it is illegal to kidnap the president or the dictator of any fucking country. I cannot believe I have to say that, but nations have sovereignty and there are laws. Only here you can have people stupid enough to see a fucking nation become a colony in 2026, right? We are now full-on imperialistic fucking bastards, and we have a new colony in South America that is completely, by default, owned and operated by the United States government. And you can say, oh my God, they're finally free. Completely ignoring the fact that we killed people and threatened to kill way more. Like it or not, they had deals with Russia and China. That is going to be bad for everyone.
Just randomly bombing a different country is so wild. These people have no clue what's going on. They probably think it's World War III. New footage shows explosions around Caracas, Venezuela, as parts of the city's south near a military base lost electricity. Low-flying aircraft were seen and heard from across the capital. This administration is absolute trash. Thieves, looters, thugs, and warmongers, nothing more. The only hope I've had all this time is that we as a country survived long enough to win back the House and put some brakes on Trump, because this is a runaway train, and this makes America look absolutely crazy as one of the superpowers around the world. What we effectively as America just did is no different than what Russia's trying to do with Ukraine or China with Taiwan, which we've had this moral high ground about, that a superpower shouldn't just go take over another country just because they can. But that is effectively what America is doing, all for the resources of a country. And their president Maduro was a horrible person. He basically installed himself as a dictator, rigged elections, is enforcing media censorship, embezzled, caused the entire economy to collapse, and has literally been charged with crimes against humanity. So he was a bad person, but we as a country don't have a right to just go in and take out a leader. And our reputation to the world will now forever be damaged because of massive explosion at the airport in Miranda in northern Venezuela. And the only thing we see from our elected officials about any of this is tweets. No action, no consequences, nothing. The White House is confirming U.S. military operations in Venezuela tonight. Let us be clear, these strikes are illegal. The president does not have the authority to declare war or undertake large-scale military operations without Congress. It looks like he just did. Congress must rein him in immediately. This is crazy. I think this is a common sentiment for most people at this point. I'm so fucking sick of y'all saying Congress needs to rein him in. It's been nothing but illegal shit after illegal shit, and y'all have done nothing but type. Shut the fuck up. And that's accurate, because Trump isn't even worried about Congress at this point. He's not worried about any backlash or pushback for anything. He shouldn't even be president with the allegations against him that leaked from the unredacted Epstein files, and he knows it, so he just gotta play it with house money. A family was at a celebration when the bombs began to fall in Caracas. Without realizing it, they filmed a moment that will go down in history. It is the first time that Venezuela has been militarily attacked by another country. But one of the clearest reasons that motivated this attack was Trump fulfilling a promise to oil companies. And it's kind of like, how much more in your face can this get? At least Bush kept up the weapons of mass destruction line. This is just us taking over a country for oil and not even lying about it. Last year, Trump promised oil executives a great deal if they donated $1 billion to his campaign. Today, he gave them Venezuela, home to the largest oil reserves in the world. While Trump said little about how the United States would be running Venezuela, he insisted it won't cost us anything, because American oil companies will rebuild the energy infrastructure in Venezuela, which holds the reserves. We are going to run the country right. It's going to make a lot of money. American oil corporations are going into that country to take out all its resources. The rich will continue to get richer, which is the motto of Trump's second term at this point. And some people had already called out this exact same play. I can predict once Russia-Ukraine peace deal is done, Trump will go after Venezuela hard with sanctions forces and try to take out Maduro. If everything fails, a false flag and direct bombing invasion will happen. Why the US will do it? The answer is below for you. Good night. And this tweet was in April 2025. But as you see here, Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. So Exxon is definitely going to be living good.
Less than 24 hours after Donald Trump militarily invaded Venezuela to capture Maduro, we already have business leaders and oil executives publicly planning an early 2026 trip to Venezuela to scout out what they perceive as potential riches. About 20 business leaders, including those from some of the top hedge funds and asset managers, are preparing to go on a March trip to Venezuela to look at investment opportunities there, including in energy and infrastructure. Now listen, it's a nuanced situation. I've talked to some people online that are refugees from Venezuela, and people are overwhelmingly happy that Maduro is gone. And good. It is good that Maduro is gone, but it is not the United States. It is not our role to be overthrowing and kicking out leaders at a whim.
But capturing the president and flying him and his wife out of the country almost immediately, I think shocked a lot of people to learn that. Because it's illegal as fuck. It's unconstitutional. They're trying to charge Maduro with violation of U.S. crimes when he's in another country.
Trump captured Maduro and flew him out of the country.
What?
Trump surrounded Venezuela with helicopters and started bombing their airports and military bases. Explosions and bombs were recorded by Venezuelans seen everywhere. So Maduro put out a statement saying to prepare to defend yourselves. We're going to fight. An hour later, Trump put out a message saying we successfully captured him and flew him out of his country.
With approval from U.S. law enforcement.
Did he get permission from Venezuelan authorities, or did he kidnap
Trump didn't
him?
specify, but he said there'll be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. But he never mentioned approval from Venezuelan law enforcement or Maduro turning himself in. He just said we captured him. He also captured his wife. And they'll soon arrive in America.
So then what does that imply?
Well, now that Maduro's been captured, that means all drugs from Venezuela is going to stop production and they'll never come to the United States again. That's how it works, right?
How is kidnapping another country's leader going to stop gangs from producing drugs?
The worst case scenario, they just attack America back because we stole their leader. If anything, maybe it'll make Maduro try harder to make sure the gangs stop producing them. This is why he had to bomb their boats. Now they'll officially stop bringing it to America.
But they weren't even bringing it to America.
Thomas Massie is going nuclear on Trump's regime change war in Venezuela.
Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced by a modern-day George Washington? How did that work out? In Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria? Previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook, except we're told that drugs are the WMDs. If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico or China or Colombia, and the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. This is about oil and regime change.
And Trump's press conference went about how you would imagine it because he's not good sticking to a script at all. And eventually he just goes off the page and tells you what he's really thinking, which in this case was, we're going to take over the country for oil.
The U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of.
And people that are paying attention are rightfully freaking out at the authoritarian action and attitude of Trump.
To every single American that keeps saying, by law, they were required. By law, by law, by law. They were supposed to do this by law. They broke the law. The law doesn't fucking exist. The law doesn't fucking exist in America, everybody. Every single member of the government is a criminal. And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable. When the fucking dictator in charge can ignore the courts, law doesn't exist. When every system of checks and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable, law doesn't exist. Stop screaming about what is legally required. Nobody fucking cares. The only way this stops is if the people listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny. Revolution!
MAGA was a lie. This administration just launched a full-scale war against Venezuela without congressional approval after promising no new wars. Pray for our troops.
MAGA was a damn lie. Donald Trump just launched a full-scale war against Venezuela without congressional approval after promising the American people no new war. This administration is clearly abusing power, and it's up to Congress to hold the president, to hold the executive office accountable.
So we're all waking up this morning seeing the insane news that's coming out of Venezuela. The government of the United States has illegally invaded a sovereign country and kidnapped its leader. That is what's happened. This is international gangsterism. That's what this is. There are going to be people in the American political space, frankly, probably on both sides of the aisle, trying to convince us all that somehow this was justified. It isn't. Not at all. Our behavior against Venezuela over the past few months has been illegal. None of this has been authorized by Congress. None of this is being done in accordance with international law. Quite frankly, we're doing this because Donald Trump is afraid of what's in the Epstein files, and they want us focused on something else. That's what's going on.
And it wasn't only Democrats mad about this. Dan Bilzerian, who has gone full MAGA, Republican, alpha male, red pill dude, actually spoke out. Trump just attacked Venezuela and kidnapped Maduro, which is illegal under U.S. and international law. According to the U.S. Constitution, a president may not initiate an attack on a foreign nation without congressional approval. And even Andrew tweeted, no more wars. President Trump is doing the opposite of what he campaigned on. Unacceptable. He sounds like a teacher. Unacceptable.
But actually going and deposing a foreign leader and capturing them and now saying we're going to run the country, as Donald Trump just said on Saturday.
He was indicted by the U.S. Justice Department. So we should just not follow through on action and indictments of our own Justice Department to bring him to justice in the United States. Otherwise, what's the point of these sorts of indictments?
That is not at all what I'm saying, right? There are thousands of people who are indicted. But just because somebody is indicted, does that mean that we go and depose a leader and actually say we're going to run a country? Donald Trump on Saturday said very specifically that the United States is going to run Venezuela, that we're going to be in control of it, and we're going to put our oil companies in place.
So I think
but like I said earlier, Trump admitted to being willing to do this again, to attack and invade another nation unilaterally and force a regime change. They're now threatening Mexico, Colombia, and Cuba. People were called alarmists for saying this would inevitably happen.
But we can't take a chance after having done this incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over, where we have to do it again. We can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us. There's nobody that has the capability that we have. You know, when I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on and everybody dying, and it's like, it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible. It's
so hard to believe that Trump is a real person that real people actually voted for. And then it's just so hypocritical on top of everything else that he's talking about fixing another country and improving another country when we just had the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, with the military and federal employees unable to pay bills, literally going to food banks. The economy is so bad that people literally have to decide whether they're going to put gas in their car or food on the table. So we will fix Venezuela before our own country. I'm done.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
And Trump decided to tweet this, which is an image of the president that they kidnapped illegally and unconstitutionally. By posting this, Trump is violating Article 13 of the Geneva Conventions. It prohibits the use of media humiliation against prisoners of war. If Trump claims he isn't a prisoner of war and instead a criminal under U.S. jurisdiction, then he's violating multiple other domestic legal rights. Trump does not care because there's going to be no repercussions for him.
This administration has zero clue what they're doing. They're just basically following a really dumb man into a very dumb war, potentially, and that creates very dumb outcomes. And so this is why you actually need to go through the proper process. I say this because it's very personal to me. I was involved in a very dumb, illegal war where I lost a lot of men and like best friends of mine because an administration, the Bush administration, was just trying to follow their ego. And this is exactly what's happening at the same time.
And MAGA just shows they have no real principles or beliefs. They are just the cult of Trump. Kidnapping the president of Venezuela is awesome and the coolest thing America has done in decades. MAGA is cooked. Everyone's showing that if it were March 2003, they would have fully supported the war in Iraq. And none of these things happen in a vacuum. Major fallout from Trump's actions in Venezuela have already begun. North Korea just fired 2 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan. China is increasing military activity around Taiwan and conducting more aggressive drills. Many world leaders are condemning Trump's actions. Right, because if America's playing dirty now, who's to hold any other country in check? Not us. We can't do that from any moral high ground anymore. We're taking over countries in South America now. It went from America first to we're going to run Venezuela in less than a year. And Americans still don't have affordable housing, healthcare, or groceries. So the U.S. is holding another country's president accountable for breaking U.S. law, but not the U.S. president for breaking U.S. law.
One of the justifications that Pam Bondi gave for us flying in and arresting Maduro is that he had possession of machine guns.
At this point, we're just living in crazy, scary times. And everybody should be concerned with Trump bragging about bombing, invading, kidnapping a president, taking over a country in less than 24 hours. Because he already mentioned doing that again with some of the other countries in South America. And with no guardrails around Trump or this administration, Congress unable to do anything to put brakes on this runaway train, who's to say he's not just gonna try to take over South America? But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting. And thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.